Sucharideva Prabhu, would you be kind enough to lead our opening kirtan this evening?
Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya Shtotar Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtotar Shata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहिए श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai, thank you so much, Sucharideva Prabhu, and thank you, Tulsi Priya, for the screen share, and welcome to everyone for Sri Caitanya-caritamrta class with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Thursday, February 15th, 2024 in New York, and we're reading in the Adi Leela chapter 7, tonight starting with text number 121. As far as I can see, I may be corrected, but that's what my notes tell me. And it's a long purport, 10 large sized paragraphs in it. So if it's all right with Maharaj, I thought perhaps we could take it in chunks, maybe one paragraph at a time, and discuss. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Sri Caitanya-caritamrta Adi Leela, chapter 7, text number 121. Vyasara sutrete kahi parinamavada Vyasa branta balita rutaila vivada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking here. In his Vedanta Sutra, Srila Vyasadeva has described that everything is but a transformation of the energy of the Lord. Shankaracharya, however, has misled the world by commenting that Vyasadeva was mistaken. Thus, he has raised great opposition to theism throughout the whole world. Srila Prabhupada's purport, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, in the Vedanta Sutra of Srila Vyasadeva, it is definitely stated that all cosmic manifestations result from transformations of various energies of the Lord. Shankaracharya, however, not accepting the energy of the Lord, thinks that it is the Lord who is transformed. He has taken many clear statements from the Vedic literature and twisted them to try to prove that if the Lord or the absolute truth were transformed, his oneness would be disturbed. Thus, he has accused Srila Vyasadeva of being mistaken. In developing his philosophy of monism, therefore, he has established Vivartavada, or the Mayavada theory of illusion. Om Agyana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shulakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haribhye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. From what I've seen in our reading of all these verses where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is directly addressing the misconceptions of Mayavada philosophy, it seems to me that the philosophy raises more questions than it answers, especially here. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoted in Prabhupada's purport. And then he says that all cosmic manifestations result from transformations of various energies of the Lord. But Shankaracharya doesn't accept the energy of the Lord and says it is the Lord who is transformed. And I'm sure we've discussed this before, but for the Mayavadis, the Lord is the form of the Lord is Maya. The Lord has no energies. It's just Brahman, which it seems that they can't even legally talk about the Lord since there's no personality in their philosophy. So how could he say that he thinks that is the Lord who is transformed? That's one question that comes to my mind. Another one is that Shankaracharya has his own sampradaya, but it's not a Vaishnava sampradaya, and it seems that its pedigree, its history, its standing isn't as strong as the four original Vaishnava sampradayas. So it seems that he, on what authority does he make his claim that Srila Vyasadeva is mistaken? I don't know. That's another thing that's bewildering to me. Yeah, because here, if it says that, if Shankaracharya says that the Lord is transformed, as soon as you say transform, that means you're transforming something from one thing to another thing. But in their philosophy, there is only one thing. So the transformation itself must be illusion. And then what is the standing of Maya if there's only Brahman? And then it's a philosophical cheat for them to say it's anirvachaniya, or it can't be spoken of as either existing or not existing. Anyway, I'm hoping that Maharaj may have something to contribute on this, because it seems like the whole discussion is very bewildering.
Yeah. Well, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is raising an objection here, an epistemological objection. Basically, he's saying that everything rests on our authority, the authority of the Vedic literature, the authority of Vyasadeva, and you're not coming out and saying it, but in essence, you're saying that he's wrong. You're coming out with a philosophy which, the implication of which is that Vyasadeva made a mistake in his presentation of the absolute truth. So you're completely out of bounds, you're completely off base, you're contradicting the authority on which all evidence rests. So that's the fundamental accusation that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making. In ISKCON, if you said, like, Prabhupada said X, but Prabhupada was wrong in regard to some fundamental teaching, you would reject you because Prabhupada is our authority on such matters. So here, or even in any practical field, if we say the authority is wrong, the teacher taught us this, but he's wrong, that's a heavy statement. So yes, how is he saying that Vyasadeva is wrong? Vyasadeva has clearly stated that everything comes from a transformation of Krishna's energies. Parashat Brahmana Shakti Tatedam Akilam Jagat. Parashat Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate Subhavati Gyana Balakriyacha. The Lord has various energies, and those energies represent transformations, or bring about transformations in the world, differences. But Shankaracharya is essentially trying to protect Brahma. Brahma is unchanging, Brahma is absolute, Brahma is not subject to any kind of alteration. But if you're saying that there are these transformations of the absolute truth, then you're damaging that existential status of the absolute. Of course, he's making what should we say? He's failing to observe or recognize or acknowledge that it's not the absolute truth that's being transformed, but the energies of the absolute truth. Or he thinks that the mere existence of energies means that there must be some damage to the absolute truth. And that puts him in at odds with Vyasadeva. So he's trying to, Prabhupada gives the example, you take a piece of paper and you tear it up into 100 pieces of paper. Now the original piece of paper is no longer exists. So Brahman can't be like that. It's not something that you can carve pieces out of, that you can scatter into 100 different forms. It has to be, and there's lots of evidence about this, Shastric statements. It has to be beyond all of that. And so Vyasadeva, Shankara says no, there's no transformations in the absolute truth. There's no transformation, there's no change, there's no none of that. Then why do we but we see that there are transformations? No, that's an illusion. That there's something other than the one undivided, inactive absolute is just an illusion. Therefore, our Pradyumna Prabhu in one essay refers to Shankaracharya's philosophy as illusionism. Illusionism. The doctrine that everything is illusion, which of course Prabhupada paraphrases Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as having stated that Shankaracharya has raised objections, opposition to theism throughout the world. And we see this because we see that this illusionism is prevalent everywhere. And of course, we'll run into that question, well, if there's, the absolute is unchanging, but there seem to be changes only because of illusion, well, where does the illusion come from? And that, of course, is the killer question for the Mayavadi Sampradaya.
Jai Maharaj, thank you. There's a question. Sucharadeva Prabhu says, isn't being achintya a Vaishnava parallel of being anirvachaniya?
Good question. Not quite, because anirvachaniya really says that, practically speaking, the absolute truth is beyond description, beyond name, beyond form, beyond qualities, beyond everything. When we say achintya, we mean that, first of all, inaccessible to material thinking. Chintya means thinking, achintya means beyond thinking. So the absolute truth is beyond material thinking and beyond, beyond our speculative powers to figure out. So we have achintya kalu ye bhava, not tams tarkena yojiye. No, he was arguing about the absolute truth, because the absolute truth is beyond argument. Beyond argument. But that doesn't mean that nothing can be said, anirvachaniya. Nothing can be said about the absolute truth. Nothing can specify the absolute truth. He can't have form, he can't have qualities, he can't have anything we can talk about. We have so much to talk about. So that's very different from anirvachaniya.
Maharaj, just a follow-up question on that. So when we see the process of expressing opinion, the first thing is to think about an idea, and then comes explaining the idea. So while we Vaishnavas talk about the principle of achintya, that the reality cannot be understood or perceived, the impersonalists talk about anirvachaniya, that it cannot be explained. So does this brings in a default understanding that it can be understood and not explained because understanding comes before explaining?
I don't think I followed well. Could you run me through that again a little more slowly?
So Maharaj, there are two terms here, the achintya and anirvachaniya.
Yes.
So thinking and explaining, these are two steps, and thinking precedes explaining.
Mhm.
So while we Vaishnavas, we say the truth cannot be perceived via mental speculation. The impersonalists, they say it cannot be explained, vachaniya, anirvachaniya.
Mhm.
But they don't say it cannot be conceived or experienced, achintya.
They'll say that
So,
also. But we don't say he can't be thought of, but beyond material thought and beyond access by a speculative process. In the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, so much is being said about Krishna, and one is advised, what is that? Ananyas chintayanto mam, always think of me and nothing else. Ananyas chintayanto mam. So it's not that one can't think of Krishna, but who could imagine Krishna? Who could imagine that a cowherd boy in Goloka Vrindavan is the source of, that's beyond our ability to arrive at by speculation and even to understand by the unaided intellect. But by the descending process, there's explanation. Krishna's speaking about himself, or authorities are speaking about Krishna. And there's hearing and understanding. We're thinking about what we hear.
thank you very much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Suchara Deva Prabhu. Devi's child has a question. He says, Hare Krishna, if they choose to worship Krishna in a formless way, would Krishna reciprocate?
Yes. To them, he appears formless. He'll even absorb them into his impersonal effulgence if they qualify. So Krishna reciprocates he reciprocates with materialists. There's no God. Everything is matter. Yes, everything is matter. You deal with it. So Krishna reciprocates. If we want to acknowledge Krishna, if we want to have loving dealings with Krishna, Krishna will reciprocate that way. If we want to deny that God even exists, yes, I don't exist. Or if we want to conceive of God as impersonal, Krishna will reciprocate or by manifesting himself impersonally. Yes.
Jai. And okay, just to continue with Devi's child question thread before we get to Saraswati Mata. He says, if Krishna reciprocates in a formless way and accepts them, then aren't they devotees?
Yeah, there has to be some devotion there. Jiva Goswami, I think, has made that. Even Brahman realization will be beyond us. So some devotion is there even among the Mayavadis, but what is that devotion? Devotion to an impersonal, formless absolute. So some element of devotion is there, but when we speak of a devotee, that's something of a different caliber. That's something of a different caliber. Even if the way that a person who acknowledges that somehow or other there must be a government, he's different from a patriot. He may be accepting that there's a government. He may even accept that it's important. He may accept that it's great, but that's different from the person who gives his life for his country. You can't really call the first person a patriot, but the second is. So the Mayavadis, they have some devotion, little devotion, otherwise they wouldn't even make it to where they are. But that's a far cry from being heart and soul dedicated to the service of the personality of Godhead.
Would it be fair to say that because you can't truly have devotion for something formless, that definition of devotee wouldn't apply to such a person?
Yeah, a devotee, what is that? He's anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam. He's freed from these things. When we speak of devotee, it's something particular, something special. It's not just a person who has a little affinity or a little dedication to a general idea. That's some devotion, so you get what you get. You get an impersonal, formless something. That in one sense, you can say they're dedicated to the absolute truth. They're different from the materialists. The materialists are just dedicated to the project of trying to exploit the resources of the material energy. So the Mayavadis are beyond that. They're dedicated to trying to understand the absolute truth. So that's devotion. And that's devotion. But that's different from being devotees of the personality of Godhead. But it's something, at least.
Jai. Saraswati Mata says, Pranams. If Mayavadis believe that the Lord is formless, then how do they explain the existence of Vaikuntha planets and Goloka and the different rasas enjoyed there in different relationships by liberated souls?
Allegorical, imaginary, crutchy. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Davy's child continues. He says, I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to here, where it says, isn't that the ultimate goal? If they, I'm guessing the impersonalist, manage to make relation and connection with Krishna in a way which we consider is not according to scriptures, does it matter for Krishna? Because if Krishna is happy, doesn't it overrule all other scriptures? Because isn't Krishna's decision the ultimate than scriptures?
Well, our objection is that it's not, first of all, that they're not according to scripture, although from one point of view that argument can be made. But looking at it this way is they've chosen a particular way of approaching Krishna. They're approaching the Brahman aspect of Krishna. So in one sense, from Krishna's point of view, what's it to me? You know, I have a million servitors. I don't need any more. And he's happy in any case. It's his nature to be happy. His happiness is not contingent upon having X number of conditioned souls in turn toward his service. But it's not the natural condition of the living being. They're approaching in a, first of all, a difficult way, klesho dikataras. And second of all, what they get if they achieve the perfection they're seeking is only a partial realization, and realization of one aspect of the absolute truth. So it's okay. We don't have to say, no, this is wrong. You can't have this realization. But for the benefit of those who are willing to go further, we have to say that this is not the highest realization. And from another point of view, it's offensive. You have imagine you have a son, you'd like him to engage in helping you with your business or with your, whatever it is, being of some service to you. And instead the son says, well, fathers are kind of I accept that you're a father in principle, but there's no difference between being a father or being a mother, or being a father and being not a father, being between one thing and anything else. It's all the same. So I'll just kind of appreciate in some abstract way your existence, but I won't do anything for you. Or I'll outright deny that fatherhood even exists. That I don't really have a father. That's not very pleasing, is it? And also, Krishna, it's not that he's really so happy about impersonalism. In the Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mam mudha manashim tanamashruta. Krishna says, those who are mudhas deny my personality. That's not really a very happy way of speaking about someone. When I'm happy with you, I don't say you're a mudha, you're an ass. But that's what Krishna says about those who deny his personal aspect, or who make it subordinate. Avyaktam vyaktam apannam manyante mam abhuddhaya. Those who are short on intelligence, abhuddhaya, say that I've come from something higher, that from the impersonal absolute, the personal feature has been derived. Krishna says they're not intelligent. So this doesn't sound like these are not expressions of happiness.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. Okay. Tulsi Priya has a hand up. Please go ahead, Tulsi Priya.
Hare Krishna, Jai Maharaj. I had a question, a question about the inability, or the achintya and anirvachana, anirvachaniya idea. And I was thinking that, we say that Lord Ananta, with his thousands of mouths, can't come to the end of the Lord's glories. So in one sense, you can talk about the Lord, but he will never be contained by words. So in that sense, you can't talk about him to fulfillment or completion. And then I was wondering about something else. I think about, let's say, a research scientist who's studying cancer or something like that, and they can go on for a lifetime studying just one little aspect of cancer or an aspect of a cell or something like that, and never seemingly come to the end of it. And I'm just wondering, I guess in theory, you could say you can come to the end of studying and you know everything that there is to know about a certain topic, but who does that really? And so I'm wondering, is that, if it is actually the case that you can't come to the end of even a particular aspect of the material world, is that because it's part of it's Krishna's energy, and therefore it's also in a sense unlimited and can't be contained by mental speculation or words?
It doesn't have to be unlimited. It could be limited even, if there's a feast with 400 items, that's not unlimited, it's only 400 items. But, I can't eat more than 2 or 5 or 20. So we're just very limited.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Krishna.
I love my point there. Anyway.
Davy's child goes on to say or ask, will we be able to know Krishna's decisions regarding them? I'm guessing he's still speaking to impersonalists. Will we be able to know Krishna's decisions regarding them? We may think they are not right according to what we have learned, but even with the scriptures and our learning, are we able to know even 1% of Krishna's glory? What if there is more to this which hasn't been revealed yet, but may be revealed in the future? After all, the ultimate goal of our services are to make Krishna happy.
Well, there's several points here that you've put together. First is that, yes, we're not able to know even 1% of Krishna's glory, so that's certainly true. And it's also true that therefore there's even however much we can understand, there's always more for us to understand, more that's yet to be revealed. But that doesn't bring us to the point of possibilism. I think I've spoken about this before, the idea of possibilism, that, well, anything might be possible. In a court case, that won't stand. If the prosecution brings a strong case that someone committed a murder, let's say, you can't really mount the defense of, well, there might be more evidence that comes out in the future. After all, everything is possible. Your Honor, would you deny that it's true that future evidence might not come to light? Are you saying that we know everything? No, you don't. We don't say that. But put your evidence on the table. Otherwise, the evidence is already there that this man killed his neighbor, and so he's going to hang. You can't raise possibilism as a defense. Apart from that, so in the Bhagavad Gita, the verdict's already in. I mentioned that Krishna says these people are less intelligent. These people are asses, because they deny my personality, or they think that my personality is a mere projection of something higher and impersonal. So Krishna's already given his verdict, and therefore we're able to know. Will we be able to know Krishna's decisions regarding them? Yes, because the decisions are already delivered in Bhagavad Gita. Now, that doesn't mean they're 100% doomed. There may be the opportunity for them to come from impersonalism to personalism. That happened with the Kumaras. They were impersonalists, they became personalists. Shukadeva Goswami admits that he was at first more attracted to the impersonal feature, but then he became attracted to the personal aspect of the Lord. So that's possible. Not only possible, but there's evidence for it, that historically this has happened. But we may think they're not right according to what we've learned. Yes, that's so. What we've learned is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and what Krishna says doesn't look so good for them. It rather condemns them as being on the wrong track. So there's a conclusiveness already there, even though there may be more for us to know. And to consider the murder analogy, there may be more for us to know. We haven't yet understood how cruel the murder was, how heartless, how methodically planned, or this or that aspect of the murder. But we know it was murder because that's already been decided. That's already been made clear. So there may be more to know about how much Krishna is dissatisfied with them, how Krishna may deal with them in this or that way. But the conclusion that they're off course is already established.
All right, Krishna. Saraswati Mata comments or asks, there have been instances of Mayavadis becoming Vaishnavas, but surely a Vaishnava would never become a Mayavadi, yet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned us of associating with Mayavadis.
Trying to think of historical examples, but the danger is that one may be affected by the Mayavadi philosophy. Now, certainly a person who's solidly established as a Vaishnava is not going to become a Mayavadi, but a person who's in the probationary stage may still be attracted to this idea that, well, I may not be able to enjoy materially, but I can become God. The last snare of Maya.
Thank you, Maharaj. And Mukesh Prabhu, good to see you, Mukesh Prabhu. He asks, so this knowledge of impersonal feature of the Lord is only because of the desire of the jivas. The nature of the jiva is to be servant of the Lord. Getting the correct understanding of the personal is possible because of the mercy of the devotees and ultimately by the mercy of the Lord. Isn't this understanding of the Lord so rare?
Of course, yes. But even, a simple acceptance that the Lord is a person doesn't have to be so astonishing. To fully understand the Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that Krishna is everything, and to devote oneself fully, that may be rare, but at least to acknowledge that there's personality of Godhead, that doesn't have to be so terribly rare. In any case, rare, not rare. This is where we have to go. And yes, it's possible by the mercy of devotees and the mercy of the Lord.
Jai. Devi's child continues, but is it right to compare Krishna's ultimate intelligence with our limited intelligence? I would like to know the verse that says about Mayavadis from Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj, please share.
Yeah, I've quoted, first of all, I didn't compare our limited intelligence with Krishna's unlimited intelligence. That comparison is not there. I didn't say that I'm as smart as the judge. The judge knows more about law than I do. I just accept his verdict. That doesn't mean that I think that I'm as qualified as the judge, but I accept what the judge said. That's my qualification. So Krishna is the ultimate intelligence, and he's the one who brings in these verdicts about the Maya bodies. I don't have my database, so I'll fire it up. But avyaktam vyaktam apannam manyante mama buddhaya param bhavam jananto mama buddha maheshwara. That's Bhagavad Gita 7:24. Avyaktam vyaktim apannam, having obtained apannam, vyakti, personhood, from the impersonal state of vyaktim, manyante, this is what they think, Mom, about me. Who? Abudhaya. That's the subject of the sentence. Abudhaya. Those who are less intelligent, abudhaya, devoid of intelligence, however you want to translate it, but they're not buddhi, buddhiman. They're not buddha, intelligent. They're abuddha, not intelligent. Param palam ajananto, they don't know my supreme nature. Mamavyayam anuttama, they don't know that I'm imperishable and anuttama, transcendental. Let's see. We'll give you the translation for that, Prabhupada's translation.
Maharaj, I posted it in the chat.
Thank you. Then there's avajananti mam muddha. Avajananti mam. Whoops. Avajananti mam muddha. Bhagavad Gita 9:11. Avajananti mam muddha manashim tanamashritam. Those who don't know me, avajananti, not knowing me, mam, me, buddha, these fools, manasham tanamashritam. They think that I've taken shelter of the body of a human being. Ashrita means having taken shelter. Tana means a body. Manashim, a human body. They see that, oh, you're just a human being. You can't be the absolute truth. Param pavam ajananto, the same phrase is repeated. They don't know my transcendental nature. Mama bhuta maheshwara, and my nature, my existence as the controller, the great controller, Maha Ishvara, of all that exists. So these are two statements from Bhagavad Gita. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. I hope that covers the territory.
Yeah, he says, thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Tulsi Priya comments, I heard of a devotee who went from regular ISKCON preacher to studying with Babajis to being a Buddhist. He documented his path in his blog. This was a long time ago, so I can't remember who it was. Sounds like he was so greedy to know more than his gurus taught him, he wound up believing in the void.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
In the Katha Upanishad, it said that the path of spiritual realization is like the razor's edge. A little inattention, and we can cut ourselves. One has to be very careful. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned us, Mayavadi Bhasha, Shrilewe Sarvanash. Don't hear from the Mayavadis.
Tulsi Priya says her comment was in response to Saraswati's comment about devotees not becoming Mayavadis. Yeah. Saraswati Mata says, if a Vaishnava devotee cannot achieve Krishna prema in one lifetime, would they retain their position and faith of a Vaishnava in the next life so they are not going to become attracted to Mayavada?
According to their strength. If they've made 20% progress, that stays with them. For the next life, they start from 21. Sit on something. Take a blanket or something, you're going to get in trouble. If they come up to 80%, they'll start from 81. So Bharat Maharaj resumed from the platform of Bhava, because that's what he achieved in his previous life. Others may go to the heavenly planets and come back down at a lesser stage. So, according to the progress that they've made. But till we go back to Godhead, we're not out of the woods. So we should be careful at every stage. A devotee never thinks, now I'm immune from all the attacks of Maya. Should be careful.
Thank you, Maharaj. And Devi's child says, but I have one more doubt, Maharaj. Didn't they accept Krishna when he came to earth? Is it just that they accepted him, but said before he came, he was in a formless way and will return to formless way?
Let me just see that comment. Oh, I guess that's written to you. I don't see it.
It's actually there. It's the third from the last comment posted in the chat thread.
Oh, yeah, there I see now. Didn't they accept Krishna when he came to earth? In different ways. Some accept that's described in when Krishna was in the wrestling arena of Kamsa. And everyone saw him in a different way. The gopis saw him as Cupid personified. The elderly Brajbasis saw him as being like their child. The wrestlers saw him to be like a thunderbolt. The dullards saw him to be like a stone. So everybody, they saw Krishna, but what could they understand? Kamsa saw Krishna, but because of his impious activities, he couldn't understand, here's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here's the person to whom I should dedicate my heart and soul. Instead, he was thinking, here's this person that's come to kill me. I have to kill him before he kills me. So they saw Krishna, but they didn't understand Krishna. Then others might have thought that he's a divine, some sort of divine entity. Maybe he's a demigod. That thought has appeared in the Bhagavatam, that maybe he's a demigod. Others thought that the the impersonalist would think that he's, and I think that that's even mentioned someplace, that here's this wonderful expression of the impersonal absolute. That's how they would think. Krishna is so wonderful. Krishna is so, the impersonal feature of the absolute truth has appeared in this wonderful person, Krishna. And that's how the Mayavadis would think. So according to one's angle of vision, everyone sees Krishna differently.
Jai, thank you. We're almost at the end of our time. Tulsi Priya has 2 questions. I don't know if they're long questions or short ones, but she says, what if you decide to become inimical to Krishna and become a big demon? Do you still hold on to your progress until you come back to your senses? And can offenses to devotees nullify your progress or just pause it?
Well, if you become inimical and become a big demon, that's a certain qualification. You may get to come back as a big demon again. That's possible. Do you still hold on to your progress and you come back to in what progress? Oh, I see. If you're a devotee or spiritually progressive, but you become inimical to Krishna, you can say hold on to your progress, but what does it mean, hold on to your progress? Your progress is not only put on hold, but you're what can we say? Can offenses to devotees nullify one's progress? Well, in effect, yes. In the Nectar of Devotion, it said that by offenses to devotees, one renders one's service. When one offends devotees, one's service becomes like the waning moon, which gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and can eventually disappear. So whether it's ultimately there in every living being, that Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhu Kapunai. Even the greatest demon, even the greatest impersonalist, even the greatest uninterested person, they all have Krishna Prema somewhere in their hearts, but it's blocked. It's blocked. So effectively, it's not there. Effectively, it's not there. Just like maybe the strongest man in the world, but if my hands are tied, then effectively, I have no strength, I have no power. So every living entity has love for Krishna somewhere deep in its heart, but it's blocked. So when we offend devotees, that serves as a block for devotional service. So our devotional cultivation can either diminish somewhat or practically become extinct.
Just a quick follow-up comment from Tulsi Priya on that. I remembered that His Holiness Radhanath Swami once compared one's spiritual progress on hold to having a debit card but losing it. Money's still in your account, but you can't access it.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. And it's time for kirtan. I'm going to see whether, sorry, Mukesh Prabhu, we'll have to save your question for next time, for tomorrow. Do you have a kirtan outfit on premises there, Maharaj?
No, I don't have an outfit. Would you like to lead kirtan?
Me? How long is it?
3 minutes or so. Just Hare Krishna kirtan, 1 tune, simple. Okay, we have a candidate.
Yeah. Thank you.
From here.
From here is good.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotar Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Navandam Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you to your kirtan leader, Hare Krishna.
He disappeared, but yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here and for all your contributions. Sri Caitanya-caritamrta ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Holiness Jayādvaita Swami ki jai.
Sankirtan Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hope to see everyone tomorrow. Please share these links and Hare Krishna.